And one thing we may talk about with him, Rob, LeBron James signs with the Lakers 2 years, $104 million. That's the max. Now, I was surprised it wasn't 3 years, 160. I felt even if he did not play the entire 3 years, that why not get the contract? But I talked to some people, and his 2-year deal is not because he's planning to retire in 2 years. Now, of course, if his game really falls off this year, next year, he gets hurt, right. He easily could. But I'm told it was because to keep his flexibility, he has a player option for the second year. And also, Rob, remember, the NBA's new TV deals are supposed to be worth 76, I think it's 76, but 70-something billion dollars, whereas the last one was worth 24 billion. So there's going to be a huge jump, and those salaries, the salary cap should really jump, not this season, but the following season, 2025-26. So they want to be, ready for that. You can get more money.
But isn't there some rule to the 38 rule, Chris? What was I?
Well, he's way obviously past that. Yeah, that determines like length. Length of contracts you can get.
I saw that. Yeah. I was reading that about how long a contract could be after age 38. Correct?
Yes, absolutely. Okay. So, but we'll see. But anyway, here's what I want to throw at you, Rob. LeBron, let's say he plays 2 years. Do you see him winning another championship?
Highly unlikely. I don't see it. I don't know what would have to happen, Chris. I can't see it given what the West looks like, even with LeBron and the numbers. The numbers haven't gone south, but the impact has gone south.
Right.
Like it's just been a struggle for them to win. I know they went to the Western Conference Finals, and I know they won the in-season tournament. But it's been a struggle. Even with AD had a great year last year.
You can't ask for AD to do much more than he did last year. I mean, he could be a better player, slightly better player.
Yeah, but I'm saying the numbers, though.
But yeah, the games played, I mean, that's as good as it gets for Anthony Davis. You're right about that. And they still finished in the play-in. I mean, they were a 7th seed, I believe, but that's play-in.
But that's what I'm saying.
You got to play your way in.
Right, Chris. Like they with those numbers, LeBron in his heyday putting up those numbers and Anthony Davis, that would equate to you're competing for a top 4 spot.
A chance to win the championship.
Yeah.
If LeBron in his heyday, you're absolutely right. With a guy like AD and a decent supporting cast, they're competing for a championship.
And instead, they're at the bottom, like struggling to even get into the play-in and all that. Right. So that's why I just find it hard to believe that that's going to change. And now you throw in a rookie coach, Chris, a novice, a guy who hasn't coached at all. Maybe he's decent, maybe he's good, maybe he's Jeff Saturday. And I just use that as a term of, you know what I mean? Like
a leader of men?
A leader of men, but didn't get it done. Except for week 1. You remember they were ready to name him coach
We had about 12 players talking about, See, we know the game. We played it.
Exactly.
We don't need the coach.
You just need to be a leader of men. That's all you need. I didn't hear one of those guys after week 9. Like they disappeared, Chris. But they were hoping and praying.
Yes.
Because had Jeff Saturday done something, they were hoping they could get jobs without having to go through the coaching ranks.
And it can't be done in football. I'm convinced. It can't be done in football.
No, football
unless you're just a complete figurehead. You know what I mean? Where you're not doing anything.
The coaching is big in football.
Yeah, it's just too.
What schemes you run and all kinds of stuff is totally different.
You got such a big staff to manage everything. It's just but I can't see it in football.
But there's just too many moving parts, Chris, and too many things that have to. Is Bronny going to be a distraction to the team? You know what I mean?
That'll be interesting.
It could happen if Bronny's not playing. How come Bronny's not playing? Or if Bronny's playing too much, or he's not performing well, is he going to be sent down? Is he blah blah blah? You know, like there's all these other storylines that could weigh on the Lakers as well. So I don't see in the next 2 years the Lakers winning the championship, especially with how the West looks. All these young teams, Chris, only going to get better, right? Because they haven't Minnesota hasn't topped out. OKC hasn't topped out. You don't know where Denver is. I mean, you got to consider them. There's just a lot of teams, even there, even the Sacramento Kings. I know
they own the Lakers.
That's right, but they're relatively
they don't own
still
anybody
young
else,
team.
but they own the Lakers. Yeah.
So I'm not there.
I'm with you. I don't think he's going to win any more championships, and I think we've said this for a little while now. It's no slight on LeBron. I mean, he's 39. You know, he's the best 39-year-old we've ever seen. I don't think that's even arguable. But he's not leading. In this NBA, Rob, I don't see him leading a team to a championship, to your point. And, I think it is what it is. If they can be in the playoffs, and I think LeBron, I think his number one thing obviously was playing with Bronny, but he wants to play in LA. And I think he wants to be competitive and have a chance. I guess you got a puncher's chance, right? But as long as the team seems like it's trying to win a championship, I think he's fine with it. He obviously isn't going anywhere just to chase a ring and go to Philadelphia or wherever, and that his family is say he's at a different point in his life, and
that would look bad too.
That would be strange. Yeah. And he wouldn't if he went to now Philadelphia would have been a little different as far as credit because they haven't even been past the second round and they need a leader. And, Tyrese Maxey is young and Joel Embiid tends to be hurt. So if they won a championship, LeBron would get a ton of credit for that, maybe even the lion's share with that group. Who knows? But if he went somewhere around like Milwaukee and Giannis is leading them and, LeBron's playing well, but not the guy, we know what this is about. It's about the GOAT for LeBron. And winning a championship as the second guy or on somebody else's
doesn't
team,
help.
It's not gonna matter in your debate with Jordan. So I get he's staying with the Lakers as he should, I believe. And like you said, he played 71 games last year, Rob. That's the most he's played as a Laker.
Because you remember he's been hurt almost every year. Yeah.
Well, yeah, he has. I mean, the lockout or the pandemic year, but that was a 3-4 month hiatus where his body could heal up. Anthony Davis, 76 games last year was his career high. So we hope we get that again from them. But
no
you
guarantee,
certainly aren't.
Chris.
Yeah, I mean,
no guarantee.
Odds would say, especially with LeBron's age, odds would say that he's probably not going to play that many games this year. But I'm with you. But what say you guys? 877-99 on Fox. Will LeBron win another championship within the next 2 years? Your thoughts, or really the rest of his career?
All right, let's kick it off with Ennis in Corona, California. You're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Ennis?
Hey, guys. 2 words. No way, no how.
That's 4, but okay.
I love it.
Well, I think Rob Parker coined it. Rob knows. New York guys, PS 179 represent.
There you go. Chris hates that. PS 50, PS 115.
Get a real name.
But they're not going to win. I mean, he's opting out of the second. He's going to opt out of the second year just to get more money. It's not going to be to bring in free agents because what free agent has he brought anywhere? He hasn't been able to do that, and he doesn't play both ends of the ball consistently. And it's kind of a shame. They have 2 top 15 players in the league, arguably, and they're a play-in team year in and year out. He trashed the play-in 4 years ago, and every year that the play-ins existed, the Lakers are in the play-in every single season.
It is kind of funny because he wasn't.
No,
he
the
wasn't with
play-in's
it.
been good for him.
Exactly, but he
even the year they got to the conference finals, he was in the play-in.
No doubt. Jack in Michigan, you're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Jack?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Doing good.
What's
Where
up,
are you
man?
in Michigan, Jack?
So I think there is a possibility LeBron wins number 5, but it's not going to be in L.A. I think his best chance is in Cleveland, possibly an opt-out sign and trade. Next summer,
in next season, not this upcoming
Correct.
season.
So when he's 40 or 41, going on
40
41,
turning 41.
Yes, and he might be the second guy with Donovan Mitchell, but he arguably already is with Anthony Davis, so I don't know how much of a problem that will be.
Well, look, I'll say this. I think the time, if LeBron was going to go back to Cleveland, and look, he did keep the player option open. So I'm not saying it's impossible.
But he had that chance, Chris.
And I think this was the year. I mean, I guess you could say he plays with Bronny 1 year. then goes back to Cleveland, because I do think he'd have a better chance in Cleveland with that team, assuming they didn't have to give up, too much to get him. But I just don't see it happening. I think if he wins it again, it's probably LA. But I don't think that's
this year probably would have been the summer to do it. But with new coach Bronny coming in, if the season's a wreck and they don't play Bronny at all, and JJ doesn't have a good first year, maybe he leaves, maybe he jumps ship.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't see Bronny playing a lot this year.
No,
I'd be stunned if he plays a lot. Yeah.
Thanks for the call. Appreciate it, Jack. Arn in South Dakota. You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Arn?
Fellas, long time, first time. And there is absolutely no way he's going to win in the next 2 years. I missed Trash Talking Tuesday by one day, but it's still Wednesday, and we can sling some dirt. He has gone and played with his friends everywhere he's ever went. And if you've ever watched soccer and somebody rolling around the field like they got murdered, and then they get up when somebody didn't see him, and then they keep on playing, that's LeBron trying to be the GOAT. It's never going to happen. And now we have nepotism on top of it. So, no, he's not going to win. I'm rooting against him. I'm a hater, and I'm proud of it.
I was about to say, we got some haters up in here,
That's all
but
right.
he
That's
admit
all right.
it.
Be who you are, On. I'm not mad at you. You know what I mean?
Rob is a hater, so he
No, I'm not.
You know you are. That's what they call you on the streets of L.A. You told us all yesterday.
And I turned my head, right? I know. That was
when we used to walk together in the streets in L.A., they'd say, "Hey, lover," and then I turned, "Hey, what's up, y'all?"
And then,
you, "Hey, hater."
Wow. Marty in Kentucky, you're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What you got, Marty?
Long time listener, first time caller.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, all right. Marty, you've been calling since
Moby Dick was a guppy.
Exactly. You know that. I was gonna say.
What's up, man?
Well, Rob, you keep up with the size of those things, I imagine. But anyway, about this subject, I just cannot see, and I know J.J. Redick has a good relationship with him, but I feel like Bron's in charge. And I feel like LeBron's style has outlived the style of the NBA. And if he can't change his style and be so ball dominant, I don't see it happening. I don't see them getting to, even if they got to the finals, say they battle through the West. And this is going to be a trouble for any team. You got to battle through the West, and you're likely to face a rested, very good, very deep team from the East. And the old man, if he needs to be the MVP, I just can't see it happening. It worked against the Heat in the Mickey Mouse Championship, but, it was AD that really carried them through the West. And then they faced the Heat team that they really just were way better than, and then he could be ball dominant and get the MVP.
You remember the Heat was missing two starters in that final.
Yeah, he needs that MVP to build on his legacy. If he got to the finals and won and didn't get an MVP, I believe that it would actually hurt him in the GOAT conversation.
Wow. Well, I tell you what's interesting you said about his style of play, because when you look at the teams LeBron won with, they played slow a lot of years. And that's how he was able to control the tempo of the game when he was essentially the point guard, and he could control it, make it kind of a slower game. I mean, Miami, they would run opportunistically, but a lot of those teams played slower, and now it is such a faster game. He's not quite as good as he used to be, so he can't play the point a lot or half the game even or more, and so he can't control the tempo like he used to. But it is interesting because the game has changed a lot, and shooting is a lot more of a factor than it was when LeBron was, dominating the league. And he's become a much better three-point shooter. He shot 41% last year. But he's certainly not having the control of the game like he used to. All right, our next guest, Yahoo Sports NBA writer, host of the Good Word podcast, also a radio host on Sirius XM, the NBA channel. Our man, friend of the show, Rob's relative, kind of, sort of. Vinny Goodwill. Vinny, what up?
Vinny, we'll always be fam. Come on, Vinny.
That's what they say.
What?
Vinny ain't claiming that.
Vinny still has love for me. I was in his family. I mean, are you kidding?
Vinny.
He was. Unfortunately, my cousin had a temporary lapse and married Rob Parker.
Oh,
it's
man,
all good.
Man.
All
well,
good.
look, man, it's good to have you on. We got a lot to get to, so let's jump at it. First, Bronny, obviously one of the big stories going on right now. I want to ask you, and you know Rob and I know how this business works. Obviously, you know how this business works. When you talk to guys around the league on all levels, players, front office, coaches, whatever, when y'all talking off the record, what are they saying about the Bronny James situation?
I mean, it depends on, like, the perspective, because this touches a lot of tent poles, right? This touches the tent pole of nepotism.
Yep.
This touches the tent pole of a black father and a black son. This touches, it touches a bunch of different ones, and depending on where the perspective of the person is, that's where they're going to sit. Like, there's certainly, a lot of black folks that are saying, hey, white people have been doing this nepotism for decades.
Right.
So be it. You know what I mean? That level of it. And my counter to that has always been, if we call out white folks for their nepotism,
thank you.
We can't let this one slide. You know what I mean? So it's a bunch of different things at work. I think the thing for me, guys, is merit. Merit sticks out to me. Sports is about a lot of different things. It's about entertainment. But it's mostly, importantly, it's about competition, and it's about merit. And I don't think that no matter what the Lakers say at this point, you can't look at anyone with a straight face and say all of this is merited by Bronny James' basketball skills and his production, because he hasn't shown it. It's not to say that he can't show it. It's not to say that had he stayed another year at USC or went to transfer somewhere else and got on the floor more, that he couldn't prove it. But as of this point, the grade is incomplete.
No doubt. And that's the issue. And Vinny, the other thing is, and we don't know yet, could be a distraction, teammates, depending on now how this works with JJ, and now his son's there. JJ's his podcast partner. This could blow up and be ugly, if things don't go right.
Well, even more than that, I wonder how many people are thinking about Bronny James, the kid. You know what I mean? And not kid as in infantilizing them. You know what I mean? I mean, Bronny James as an athlete, Bronny James as a basketball player. We're only viewing this through the lens of LeBron James and his son. You know what I mean? Not LeBron and Bronny. LeBron James and his son. It would be great for LeBron to play with his son. We never say, is this kid ready for the NBA, and what challenges will he come across because of all these other issues? LeBron can handle it because he's been in this fishbowl for well over 20-plus years. Bronny James is 19 years old. Bronny James, 11 months ago, suffered a cardiac arrest during a pickup basketball game at USC. And now it seems like to some degree he's being used, not necessarily as a tool, but he's a prop in a way for his dad's career. And I would think that he should be better than that.
I hope, because I was there, and Rob can vouch for this all along, what does Bronny want? It shouldn't matter what LeBron wants at this point. It should matter what Bronny
right,
wants.
Chris, I'm with you
and
on that.
He seems to be handling this well. I don't know what's in his head, but from what I see, and I think Savannah would have a say, and if Bronny really was like, I don't want it this way or whatever, I think she would have raised the stink. And I tend to think LeBron would listen if Bronny really was against it. So I feel like he's handling it well. He's had this pressure of living up to his father's name his whole life. So once I saw, at least in my mind, that he seems comfortable with it, I'm fine with it. The nepotism, I'm like, I don't think we have called out white folks for it. We might say something here or there. We say something here or there, but we don't raise hell and high water about it.
Talked about it a long time.
We mention it, but it's going on. It goes on left and right, and ain't nothing done about it.
Yeah, but
we can yell all we want. Nothing happens.
It doesn't mean
that
like
we can do it.
Yeah, but you can still call it out. I'm not going to endorse nepotism.
I don't think we do call it out. I got to be honest.
And that's why Jerry Jones hasn't won anything in 25 years. Maybe because
his son is the GM?
Yeah, because he has too many family members there.
That's
and
the
not
first time I heard you say that on this show. But
I've talked about it.
No, we'll talk about it, but I don't think we raise a stink about it. It's you know this, Vince. It is rampant.
I've never seen
in
it,
the
Vinny,
NBA
on the
NFL.
field. I've never seen it on the field.
It don't matter. It's still a production business.
On the
field, is it
Vinny,
any better if it's on the coaching staff?
No, I'm
what
talking
makes it
about
better on the coaching staff?
Given a person where Vinny talked about it, the competition and about earning
Coaching
their way on the field. If this is a Pandora's box, Vinny, to now have some white owner decide I'm gonna have my nephew who played college basketball get the last spot on the NBA roster. What does it matter? It's my team. He's not playing. He's not going to play. He's just practicing.
But I tell you what, he'll put that dude in the front office.
I'm talking
and he's
about
still
on
taking
the
somebody's job. It don't matter. The place we can't break through is in the front office, or at least to the degree that we should be. And also, but anyway,
I'll tell you guys this.
Stay on it.
I'll tell you guys this. This is where it could hurt Bronny. Every year there's an undrafted player that comes out of the woodwork and turns into something. And every front office or every fan base is saying, why didn't we draft him? And the Lakers are supposed to be a championship organization that focuses all its energy towards winning, adding another banner, and all this other stuff. So when this undrafted player comes up and starts balling, whoever he may be, right? Laker fans are going to say, why didn't we take him instead of Bronny James? That puts Bronny in an untenable position because he ain't pick himself. You know what I mean? He's literally just in this spot. I won't say an innocent, but Chris, here's the thing. I have my father's name, okay? If my father was famous and did all this other stuff, I publicly, no matter what I felt, I wouldn't publicly say, you know what, Dad, despite what you want, I'm going to go my own way.
No, but would you tell him privately?
Once the real estate has been laid publicly, it's up to the youngsters going to follow. You know what I mean?
Would you tell him privately? Because I would tell my dad privately.
Because LeBron was the one who tweeted that he was better than half the players in the league.
Well, yeah. But Vinny, you wouldn't tell your dad privately? Because this has been going. We've been seeing this groundwork laid for a year plus. If I was in that situation, I'd be like, Dad, I don't want it this way. If I'm not good enough, I don't want. And honestly, I might not have even wanted to play with my dad. I might have been like, I'd rather be in my own. You know what I mean? Like spread my wings. So,
Chris, here's the thing that people are not saying. Who says that boy wants to be on the road in the NBA lifestyle with his daddy hanging over his shoulder? Like, that does not sound appealing. That don't sound fun.
I mean, I agree. Like, that is, you're 19, you want to spread your wings, you want to have your, I don't know what Bronny's into and everything, but you're right. Having your dad there, wanting to go grab a burger after a game, I don't know how much he's going to want that. But I'm fine with it. This is a chance for him that maybe he never would have gotten. It's up to him to make the most out of it, and we'll see if he does. I wanted to ask you several other things quickly, 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Denver, do you think that this is something serious? I mean, they keep last year they lost a couple of key rotation players. This year they've lost, Reggie Jackson. That was a trade, but also KCP now. Do you think that this is something that it's going to hurt them going forward? And I don't think they're as good as they were 2 months ago.
Yeah, I think the second luxury tax threshold, that apron that we're going to start hearing a lot more about. Like, once you're in that second apron, you are so locked out of doing anything to help improve your team. So Denver, by virtue of giving Michael Porter Jr. that $200 million contract 2 years ago before this new CBA came in, they are landlocked. So they can't really improve their team because you got three max guys, and having three max guys on the roster really limits you. So, yeah, I don't think they're as good as they were 2 months ago. And I think had things broken a little differently, they would have won a championship, but they didn't. And they were forced with trying to get better, except they're taking steps back and putting more pressure on Nikola Jokic to be great. And I don't know if that's going to work out.
All right. That's our man, Vinny Goodwill.
All right,
great
Vinny,
stuff
have a
as
great
always,
weekend,
brother. Thank you. Yes.